Yes, guys, welcome back to the Daily Dose podcast. Today we are filming episode number 6, and it's our first international guest. Wow, if you count outside of Ireland, it's our first international guest. He's one of iBattle's favourites right now. Just had a fire battle with Jack Casserole get released. Benji Reckless, how's it going, man?
Doing all right, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Not at all, man. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. And again, I just watched the Jack Casserole battle recently, and it's incredible, man. That whole event looked crazy. I need to get out to iBattle sometime soon. But for yourself, like, how was it that you got into battle rap, man? Like, have you been a fan for a long time, or?
I was a fan for a few years before I actually started battling. I started watching battles probably like 2012, I want to say. And I was just a fan for the longest time until like 2017 is when I had my first battle.
Right, okay. And do you remember like how you got into it, or like what the first battle was that you saw, or anything like that?
Yeah, so I honestly, like, I'm real big. I get like lost in like YouTube rabbit holes a lot, and I had been watching a lot of like freestyle videos because I've been into hip hop and stuff for years, and so I was watching a lot of like freestyle videos and cypher type verses and stuff a few years ago on YouTube, and I got into a rabbit hole. And the first battle I watched, actually, like in retrospect, is not like a great example. But the first one that I watched in like the current format was like, I think it was Dirtbag Dan versus Mac Lethal. I've seen some of Mac Lethal's like, yeah, dude, it's like a grind time like Florida battle from like 2008 or 9 or something like that. It did not age well, but that was one of the first ones that I watched. And then right after that, I actually watched a UK battle because it was in like the suggested thing. So I watched Shadi Hora versus Arsenal. That was the second battle I ever watched. And then like that kind of got me hooked, and I was just like watching them like over and over since then.
Nice, man. It's cool to hear that like one of the first battles that you've seen was Shotty Arsenal as well. Like for the UK scene, like that battle is the staple kind of thing. I think it's like 4 times more successful than pretty much any other battle that's gone down on UK soil. Do you know what? It's actually I'm lucky enough to say that the Shotty versus Arsenal battle was the first event that I ever attended as well. So
that's dope.
The whole weekend was it's one of the best events in UK history, in my opinion. Like ever, it was that good. But no, that's cool, man. But you're from Tulsa, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma originally. I live in Dallas, Texas right now.
Okay, nice. And is there a big scene like near you, or like is there a big scene where you're currently based?
Texas itself has a decent scene. Like the Dallas Fort Worth area where I live, there's one pretty prominent league, Live from the Block. They have probably like 20,000 subs on their YouTube channel. That's probably the biggest local league. I just had it's crazy because I've been battling in this area on some smaller leagues and stuff for a few years, and I just had my debut on that league back in February. That should be dropping here in the next month or so. But
okay.
But and then there's we got the Culture down in Austin. There's Houston Barcode in Houston. There's a few like mid-range, like decent sized leagues. Tulsa, where I'm from originally, there's like there was a couple leagues that popped up, and we're still doing stuff for a few years, but right now there's not really anything going on too much in that area. But yeah, Dallas itself, there's a decent scene. It's not crazy huge. It's nothing like the UK. I feel like in general, a lot of the scenes in the US, well, I mean, overall, it's kind of declined in popularity, I kind of feel like. But like looking at like these battles from like 2016, and before that in like the UK and Canada and everything, where you're having like all these crazy amounts of people, like we don't really get that in Texas, like we'll be lucky if we have like, I think Houston Barcode probably had like maybe 200 people at an event. And then they've been doing the Gnome events here, which has been dope. For the URL, they do them in Houston, which they've sold crazy amount, but that's a URL event, you know.
Yeah, URL kind of sells wherever they go, doesn't it? Even when they came to the UK, I mean, they sold that event out so quickly, and it was the URL event. I think it was for ticket prices. It was kind of three times the amount that we've ever sold tickets to an event for, and people still bought them. So it just shows how massive of a brand they are. Um, I knew that Houston was pretty big in terms of the battle scene. I'm aware of Houston Barcode just because I've seen a few battles from there, and it's ran by Scotty that was on URL. Is that right?
Yeah, Scotty and Greta Blaze, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, there might be other people involved. I've never battled out there actually, but yeah, we're all sort of in the same kind of milieu of Texas battle rap.
Yeah, sure. I mean, looking at Texas as a whole, I mean, the state of Texas is probably bigger than the UK, so I can imagine getting to events in that sense is difficult. But what was it that kind of brought you to iBattle then? Because obviously iBattle predominantly work out of like New York, Connecticut kind of area, right?
Right. Well, so iBattle is one of the South by Southwest events. They didn't do it this year. They weren't going to do it before it got canceled. But the 2 years before that, they were doing South by Southwest, which is a big, if you're not familiar, it's a big music festival in Austin, Texas. And so that was the first year I went out there. The first time I ever got booked on iBattle was on South by Southwest in 2018. And I went out there, and then my opponent, he didn't no show. He showed up like 6 hours late and then told me he wasn't ready. So I didn't get to battle that night. And then, but I got connected. I got connected with Lex, you know, and I met, you know, some of the other people. I think Louis Valentine was down there, Red Flag, Megadeth. There was a few other people that were there. And that's where I kind of got connected with them. And then after that, Lex was like, you know, I'm sorry about what happened. I'd like to book you. So I got a debut in New York later that year, in July. And then ever since then, I've been kind of, I kind of slowly went from being, because I sort of battled all over the place just because the league I started off on here in Dallas, it's not really a league anymore. And it wasn't really like, it wasn't really conducive for like growth, you know. It was kind of like really small time stuff, wasn't ran super well. So I started battling like different places, you know. I think my first out of state battle was in Seattle, and then I battled, so I kind of was like a nomad for a while, but over the past few years I've been kind of I don't know, I fit in on iBattle. It's a really dope league, and so that's just sort of, I consider it my home league now.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. Like at the moment, iBattle's pretty much like my favorite league. Like everything that they release is amazing. The events just look. It just looks like a fun time event, if you know what I mean. It's not. It doesn't look overly serious, if you know what I mean. Like everybody's just there to react, and it's just it shows on the footage as well. And I'm a huge iBattle fan at the moment. But with yourself, like I became aware of you through iBattle. Like the first battle I saw of yours was the Versatilles battle.
Okay.
And I've kind of recently, like I've kept in tune with what you've done since, and then I've kind of gone back through your catalog of other battles, and like there's a lot of stuff on DFW. Is that like a local league for you then?
Yeah, that's that league I was talking about that I kind of started on, that I felt like I had to kind of branch away from. That's where I had my first battle, probably like my first 4 or 5 battles. And but yeah, it's DFW stands for Dallas Fort Worth, so it's a local Dallas thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I watched, I think, 2 battles that you've done on DFW in the last
those
couple
are
of days.
Those are probably not very good.
I don't know, man. I quite like the I think the guy was called Tedious.
Oh yeah, I had a really good angle in that one. Yeah, no, that was a fun battle, man. I honestly, I really like the local scene and I like battling here, which is why I'm glad I got to debut on that kind of bigger league earlier this year. Because I know a lot of people around here, and I have like a decent amount of like fans who've been wanting to see me, and it's nice to have a place where I can battle here again. Just because that league, that DFW league, they don't really do events anymore, you know.
Sure. Yeah, but no, the tedious battle was really good, man. I enjoyed that, and it was I, I kind of like doing that. I like discovering someone and then going back through their older battles, if that makes sense. Because
You see where they came
I
from and stuff.
exactly, I like seeing, even though it's seeing it backwards. I like seeing like that kind of progression stage in people, and it's yeah, well, it's been fun to watch with your battles anyway. But yeah, we mentioned something briefly yesterday that I wanted to touch on quickly before we get into the rest of the questions. But
Sure.
I can really see, like I don't have anything to back this up with, but I can just sense that there's some form of like iBattle versus UK or iBattle versus Ireland event or something like that that's not too far away from happening. Are you like in touch with the UK scene? Do you follow a lot of people from over here? And is there anyone, say that was to happen? Is there anyone that interests you?
So I kind of follow it on like a surface level. Ever since I got linked up with Cannell at an iBattle event, I've kind of been seeing more of like, because like I said, like I used to watch like Don't Flop battles and stuff a lot. I kind of fell off from watching UK battle scene a lot, but I've seen a lot of like Ronald's battles and like Rap is Full, and they've been doing some really crazy stuff. And then like even like you're talking about like iBattle versus UK, like Red Flag and Real Sick went over to Premier battles, I think, which was dope. As far as like people I want to battle over there, I haven't put a whole lot of thought into it, honestly. Uh, yeah, no, I should have written because I put together a list of people because I was thinking about it before we did this call. I should have written down some UK guys.
No, I mean it's not a problem, man. It's just I was just interested to see if you had anyone in mind because I mean I think the UK leagues at the moment are definitely going to be watching iBattle closely and like watching, especially the talent that's coming through on iBattle because we've in the last sort of 18 months or so we've the Premier Battles had an event last year called Apex, which was the event that Red Flag was on.
Yeah.
And the original card for that was like JC, New Jersey Twerk, Tay Rock, Chef Trez, and Real Deal, I think, were the five internationals, and the only one that didn't no show the event was Real Deal. The rest pulled out. They took the deposits without paying them back, to my knowledge, anyway. And like obviously, it led to Premier Battles booking the likes of Red Flag and Chiller Jones and things like that. And then they kind of they stuck with that obviously and booked Real Sick for the All-Star game about 6 months later. And both Red Flag and Real Sick have kind of put on some of the best performances we've seen from international battlers in a long time, like in a good 3 or 4 years. And it makes so much more sense for us to continue to book the iBattle roster as opposed to the big name URL battlers that are going to cost 10 times more to book and you don't know if they're going to turn up or not. So
that's the thing that's great about iBattle too, is that there's so much talent on the roster that like every event, I feel like, because you can beat the person that you like that you're battling, but people might not talk about your battle just because there's going to be so many crazy fucking performances going on at any given iBattle event. So you really have to like make sure that every time you go out there, you're doing like your best possible performance, and that sort of is the kind of mindset that being part of the roster breeds, and that's why I think that we do so well when we're on other leagues too.
Definitely, yeah, I completely agree. And there's just so much talent that is coming through with iBattle that would be really well received over here as well. I mean, like the amount of Real Sick is someone that I've become a huge fan of. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does in this URL tournament. I think him. My mind's gone blank. Who?
I think he's
Do you
battling
know
next.
who it is? Say
I
again,
think he's
sorry.
battling next.
I thought he.
NXT.
I don't know.
I think
I,
I saw a graphic a while ago and I thought I saw that battle on it, but I could be mistaken. But I believe that's who he's battling.
I think that's who he's got next in terms of the PGs, but they're
But that's
doing
not
like
the
a
tournament.
no. I think they're doing like a quarantine tournament at the moment. And I've completely gone blank on who he's battling, but essentially there's either 16 or 32 battlers in this tournament, and he's Real Sick's matchup it's between Sick and who he's battling for, who I think will go on to win the whole thing. Like, they're kind of getting the best matchups done in the first round. I'm really badly prepared here. I'm gonna have to search it and find out.
Oh,
who
it's
he's
all
got.
good, man. But the thing about Sick that's dope is he's been doing this for like years, and it's just like the past, like, he got the look on iBattle, and then Lex was like, he got him the XL battle, and then he went and battled in the UK. Like, he's doing some, and then he got the PGs and stuff. Like, he kind of blew up last year, but he put in a lot of work before that. It's just the fact that, like, he wasn't quite in front of the right people. I mean, he battled Drake Dennis. He battled on UW, but like, it's not like he wasn't really at the level he was at now until, like, he had got like that stepping stone, which is another great thing that Lex does for people on the roster.
Definitely, yeah. And I remember seeing him on UW a while ago, and you know, he was good, but he wasn't as good as he is now, definitely. But something that Canal said not too long ago kind of really it showed how good iBattle is, and he just said that for any UK or Irish artist that's looking to go out to iBattle, don't request anyone, just let Lex pick the matchup, because he's just so good at picking the perfect matchup for everyone, kind of thing. And it shows from the releases that have come out in the last few years as well.
He's really good at that, and like he'll pick matchups that you wouldn't think about, but like as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense, and then it ends up being a fire battle. Usually, I mean, nobody's accurate 100% of the time, but Lex is really good at it. I think he's honestly one of the best in the game right now as far as matching up people that he knows will make a good battle.
Definitely. Like, for me, there's no disrespect to either of these two either, but like TY and J Murder was released pretty recently, and they're two battlers that I don't think that they're not good. I'm not a huge fan of them personally, but that battle it just came out so well. I was like really impressed with TY in that as well. I think it's hands down his best performance that I've seen from him. But
right, Lex will give you those people who can like. My bad. Lex will give you those people who can like pull your best performance out. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, and it just shows, man. All the releases recently have been incredible. I've just checked, by the way, and this quarantine tournament, it might not actually be a video tournament because it's called Ultimate Madness, but Real Sick's been matched up with Jay the Nightwing in the first round.
That's right. I do remember seeing that. That should be interesting. If Jay can,
I
man, Jay's been choking a lot lately. Jay's really good when he's on point, though. But then again, he's also so laid back. I think it'll be interesting to see him against someone who's high energy like Sick. I hope he comes with it because that could be a really good battle.
definitely, and I think the winner of that will go on to win the whole thing. I mean, there's some other good people involved. You've got like Kid Chaos, who I'm quite a big fan of. He's battling Lou Castro. Um,
Yeah.
and then Squeako's involved. Easy the Block Captain, Don Marino, Ace Armin, Bad News. Like there's some pretty, you know, big up and comers, if that makes sense, involved in this tournament. But I really hope that Real Sit does well, man, because his performance in the UK was incredible.
Yeah, dude, he's really good. He's good at like crowd control too. Just like the tone of his voice and stuff is dope. I don't know. Sick is super dope. He's one of those dudes that like, because I watch battles a lot. I've been into it for a long time and I've been battling for a while. So like, a lot of times I'll watch people's battles just because like they're my friends. I want to give them the view, or it's like an established name that I'm a fan of. But like, Sick is one of those ones who's like, he's like a peer kind of like we don't really know each other like that, but we're both on the iBattle roster and stuff. But I still like will like click just to watch his battles because I enjoy watching them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Like his, for me, his XL battle was contender for battle of the year for me that year. It was phenomenal.
It was super dope. I think honestly, last year's battle of the year on iBattle was probably Mike P versus Dunch.
I
Uh,
I agree, but I
but
mean,
no, I'm not disagreeing that Sick versus XL was super dope. It could be a top contender for sure. But like, yeah,
yeah.
like Mike P versus Dunch was probably my favorite. That was awesome. I got to like be in the room for that one too. That was the day after I battled Jack Casserole.
Okay, nice. I didn't know that actually.
So it was they had so iBattle was doing, and they've kind of put it on hold because of all this stuff that was going on, but they were doing this thing called the Arena, which was like a tournament but like in person, you know. And it wasn't really bracket style. It's just that like the amount of wins that you got would correlate to points, and then at the end of it, whoever had the most points, they would battle each other, and then the winner gets like a big name or money or something like that. um so the first Arena card
Sure.
was the day before Titan 6 when Ellipsis battled Homeschool and Mike P battled Dunch. And yeah, there was a bunch of crazy battles that night. So it was really cool to be able to be there for that.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. And it like Dunch is Dunch is somebody. If I'm honest, I slept on Dunch for a long time. It took me a long time to actually sit down and watch one of his battles.
Well, he makes it easy for you to sleep on him.
Yeah, it's true, and he's that like just the way that he approaches battles. There's nobody like him. It's so much fun to watch. I don't know if you've seen it's not been released yet, but it was on the Broken Resolutions event from Rap is Full was released
It's on
on
the
the
iBattle app,
iBattle
isn't
app.
it?
Yeah, and Dunch battled Podge in Ireland, and it is. I don't think I've laughed at a battle that much for a very long time. Like he was so good.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I've scrolled by it on the app, but I've heard really good things about it. So I'm gonna have to check it out one of these days.
Yeah, it should be dropping soon. Some of the battles from that event have started dropping on YouTube, so fingers crossed it won't be out too long. But yeah, I mean, in terms of yourself, then Benji, like what would you say is your favorite battle that you've been a part of? Like if you had someone that had never watched battling before and you were going to show them one of your battles, which one would you go for?
Well, okay, those are like two different questions, kind of. My favorite, because I don't think my best performance was really my favorite like experience battling. I think my
Okay.
best battle would probably be either the one that just dropped versus Jack Casserole or versus Vocab on Ground Zero, which dropped like near the end of last year. Those are both really good, solid performances. Probably would be the ones that I would show people. But like in terms of the battles that I've had the most fun daring, probably be either Japanese Jesus at South by Southwest, or I battled this guy named Jack on Universal Battle Realm, which is this league in Albuquerque. If you're familiar with Ronnie, that's his home league.
Yeah, Ronnie and Random's been on there,
Yeah,
and quite a few other guys, right?
yeah. It's a super fun league. I love going out there. Albuquerque is a really awesome city. They have a really cool vibe. There's tons of like attractive women at their events, and everyone just parties the whole time. It's super dope. So when I battled Jack was my first time going out there, and they had nothing. They didn't know what to expect of me or whatever. And they're not really like a bar heavy league. But I mean, there's certain guys that do a lot of like punchlines and stuff, but there's a lot of like comedy type stuff, a lot of like intricate rhyming. They hadn't seen anybody like me for a while, so like I kind of just like shook the room like over and over and over. So that was like one of my best. That was one of my favorite experiences battling. Um, I had a couple battles in Tulsa, which is my hometown, which is always fun because I get a decent amount of people to come out. The battle that I enjoyed the most out there, they like fucked up the footage and they dropped it like cell phone footage. So I never promoted it because it doesn't look very good, but it was a super fun battle to be a part of. And I did really well. This is versus this guy named Rel on Cash RBL, which is like, it was a league that was sort of popping in Tulsa for a while and it's been kind of dying down and they haven't had an event in a long time.
Okay, right. Yeah, I mean, if from my opinion, if I was going to pick one of your battles as well, it would have been the vocab one, I think. And where was the vocab battle? Because that was on King of the Dot Northwest, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was just like an hour south of Seattle in a town called Olympia, Washington. There's like a smaller league that operates out of there called 4MCs by MCs, and they were sort of doing the event in conjunction with GZ. And I've battled in Seattle. There's a couple leagues out there. That, like I said, that was like my first out of state battle that I ever had was out in Seattle. Yeah. So I have like a good connection with a lot of the leagues out there, and they're really good. They're a pretty good scene too. And it's just a beautiful part of the country and it's gorgeous and I like going out there. So they knew about me, so they hit me up to come battle, and it ended up being a really like fun experience and a good battle. But
no, yeah, I really enjoyed the vocab battle, and it was on the same card as the Young Cannon Patron battle. Is that right?
Yep, that was the main event that night.
Nice. Yeah, it looked like a really fun event, man. But yeah, I was wondering if it was based in Vancouver. That's all, because that's kind of
because Coke was there. So that's
yeah.
Just like where they were is like 2 hours south of Vancouver, just like right across the Canadian border. And so like
yeah, it's not too far.
They lump those two, like Seattle, Olympia, and Vancouver. Those together are GZ Northwest.
Right, it makes sense. But yeah, like Vancouver's another place that, like, and I'm hoping probably next year that I'm gonna try and take some time off and come over to the States for a bit, and I want to come to a couple of events. And like at the moment, I'm hoping to do iBattle, I'm hoping to do Vancouver, and I'm hoping to do an event in Cali, but at the end of this year, I'm also going to try and make it over for Town Business if they do a Town Business 3. So I've got quite a lot of plans in that sense to come to the States and experience an event over there properly, because I don't know what it's like there. You're kind of the first person that I've really had the chance to speak to properly about the scene in the US, but over here, events are well known for running on what we like to call battle rap time. So fans will get to the event for, let's say the doors open at 1 o'clock. Fans will get to the event for 1 to 2 o'clock. And the first battle doesn't normally end up happening until like, say 3, 4 o'clock normally. You're normally stood waiting around for a long time. Is that the case with events there? I know URL are infamous for long waiting periods between battles and stuff, but
I
is
think I
that the
have
case
like
with
28 or maybe 30 battles. I have quite a few battles, but honestly, I think I've been to one event that started on time. It's the same exact way over here. And it depends on where you're going. A lot of leagues are pretty good about it. You know, maybe they'll start an hour late, but I've been to events where we got kicked out of the venue that we were at and we had to go battle in the parking lot. Or I went to one event where they booked it at a place that wasn't approved to have any occupancy. And so the fire marshal came and shut us down. And then someone had a connection with their church. And so we went and had the rest of the battles at a church. Like, I think the thing with battle rap is it's been around for a while and it's sort of an established thing now, but there's not really like a set of rules for how to run an event, how to run your YouTube channel. It's like the Wild West, you know what I mean? And so there's like kind of standards for how people do things, but they're not really like, it's not like a sports thing where there's these strict guidelines. And if you do something that you're not supposed to do, then you get fined or whatever. There's no one enforcing that kind of stuff. So I think that's why that is sort of par for the course when it comes to battle rap.
Yeah, definitely. It happens here as well. Like it's unfortunate in that sense, but you know, I guess it can't be helped at times. But that's mad though that you got to battle in a church. That's crazy.
So I battled at mine was like the only battle that happened at the original venue before they got shut down. So I didn't actually battle at the church, but I was at the church. It was funny because they had the camera set up to where it was pointing, like we were all on the floor. They kind of pushed the chairs back, but then behind us is like the stage with like the pulpit and the cross and all that. And they had the camera pointing right at that. And I'm like, you guys want to show, like, that's very churchy. They're going to think this is like a Christian battle league or something. So we turned it around and it was just like a sea of chairs, which wasn't much better, but it was a little bit better.
Do you know what? I think they should have gone with the original setup. I think that would have gone down quite well. Actually, it's the type of thing that King of the Ronalds would have done over here. I think
set up like A-Ward
anything to be
versus Loso in front of the pulpit.
that would be fire. I love it. I think ruin your day. They do these battles in random locations. I think that should be their next idea.
That's another thing though, is like none of the people that are in the Four Horsemen, because like Street Hems is from this area. He actually started on the same league that I did, and I've known Hems for a few years now. But like he's like told me like none of them will like battle each other, which is annoying because I feel like there could be some interesting matchups there.
Yeah, so who's in that group? It's like A-Ward,
Loso, Saga, and Street Hems, and I think that's it.
Okay.
That's all the Christian battles. Or at least all the ones that people know about.
I think I'm aware of Street Hymns. He's been on Bullpen a few times.
Yeah, he's been on Bullpen. He's been on URL. He battled Red Flag on iBattle. He's definitely probably the least well known out of that group, but he's honestly, in my opinion, probably one of the better writers.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm personally not a huge Saga fan. I don't dislike him, but he actually came to the UK about maybe a year and a half ago and battled a guy called Impact, and it was just it wasn't a great battle for me, either of them, to be completely honest with you. But I've never really kind of kept in check with what he's done since. But
I'm not a fan either, honestly. Like I acknowledge when other people are successful, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like I like their what they do. Like I like Loso, he's kind of hit or miss for me. I like A-Ward, he can be pretty good. But yeah, I don't even remember why we got on the topic of the Four Horsemen, but
no, nor can I now. But it's I mean, A-Ward is one of my like recent favorites, like one of the people that have come up in recent years that I really like. I always kind of liked him, and then I saw him live at the the King of the Dot World Dom event that they
Yeah.
did in London, and that him and Sharon, like, if I'm honest, that was the only battle on the day that was particularly good. But it's still one of the best battles I think I've seen live. Like there's in that venue, it's the same venue that the URL used and the same venue that Sick battled Maverick in at the All Star game, but it has like an underground track, so the train goes over the top of the venue.
Oh.
You can't really hear it too much on the audio when that event dropped, but a train goes over just as A-Ward starts his round and he does a flip about it, and the whole venue just went fucking mental. Like it was such a good flip.
He's really consistent and he's really good with like the freestyle flips and stuff. Yeah, definitely. Ward is one of the most consistent out right now, I think.
Definitely, yeah, and he battles so often as well. It's crazy, really. We don't really. There's not many UK battlers that battle that consistently. The only person really is probably Kinau, and just seeing like A-Ward's work rate at the moment, it's pretty crazy to see. To be fair to him, have you had a chance to see the Chef Trez battle that dropped recently?
No, that was on like the Connects, right?
Yeah, I think it's a Kansas City-based league.
Yeah, I know the Connects. I have a couple friends who battle up there. I've never been up there myself, but I took because I made, what did I make? I made some flyer that had either A-Ward or Chef Trez on it, and I pulled screenshots from that battle. So I listened to a little bit, but I haven't watched the whole battle yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of the best battles that I've seen this year so far. It's so good, and they're both rebuttaling like crazy. It's a really good battle to watch, actually.
Oh yeah, Chef Trez does that a lot. That's why Bangs and Chef Trez was such a good battle.
Yeah, definitely. That's there's so many battles with iBattle that I forget about.
Oh, that's the thing. Like Lex shoots himself in the foot sometimes because he'll drop so much fire content that people don't know what to do with it.
Definitely, yeah. Like it's great, but yeah, you're definitely right. Like I completely forgot that battle had even happened, and it's an amazing battle as well.
Yeah, for sure. That was the Hostile Takeover event. I'm pretty sure Sweeney set up most of those battles. But I think I wasn't at the event. I think it ended up going pretty well. I think I made like the video announcements for that one. I've been doing like behind the scenes stuff for iBattle for the past since like last summer, I think, like flyers and helping out with editing videos and stuff, because that's like my 9 to 5 job is doing that type shit anyways.
Right. Nice. Yeah, the iBattle stuff is so professional as well. Like I had the URL app for a while, like maybe a month or so, and just the functionality of the app was poor in my opinion. But the iBattle one is it's so accessible and it's so easy to use. They're really pioneering stuff in battle rap at the moment for me.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing that's great too is like the past like year, really, it's stepped up quite a bit. Because if you've seen like footage from like Real Deal versus Dago, which was just last May, it's not the same quality of filming and all that kind. Like the video quality has gone up, and like Lex spent a lot of money investing in that type of stuff, and then also the app, somewhere around like 10 grand or something. Like he's investing, but it's a quality product at the end of the day, and I think it's helping people take a lot more notice, and maybe people that weren't taking iBattle seriously before don't really have a choice anymore.
Yeah, for sure. But even still, I think like you said, with the real deal Dago battle, like even with that, the quality has never been bad in that sense, but it's certainly improving all the time. But that's
Right,
something
right, and that's what
I
I mean. It
forgot
was never
happened,
like
man.
poor quality, but it wasn't like if you watch like like King of the Dot, URL battles, they're all pretty much like top quality type video content nowadays, and that's this type of battles that or excuse me, that iBattle is setting up. If you look at like a lot of our like Bangs and Chef Trez, or like a lot of those are like main card type battles. Freaking Cuban versus Reaper Rel that just happened like November last year or something like that. Um, so in order for us to like keep up, we got to have like the same level of quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, real deal Dago Davalo. That's another battle that I forgot happened, and I love that battle.
It's
Like,
super good. Dago is a madman, dude. Dago's one of my favorite on iBattles. His pen is crazy.
yeah, there's another like UK based battle rap podcast you may have seen called Battle Rap Resume, and
Hmm.
the the guy that runs that is his name's Tom. He is like the biggest Dago Davalo fan ever. Like he pretty much mentions him in every single episode he does, man. Like he's a huge fan. I'd love to see him come over here at some point soon as well.
Oh, Dago would kill it, man. Yeah, I'd love to see him over there too. I think there's a lot of guys on iBattle who've been doing really well for a while and haven't necessarily gotten. I mean, Dago battled Real Deal and he battled like Reverse Live and stuff, but I'd love to see him on like in the UK or on URL or something. Like nothing. I don't mean to say that he's killing it on iBattle, and I would love to see him expand to like a worldwide audience. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I'd, I've been, whenever there's kind of like a post looking for suggestions for matchups on iBattle or things like that, I've always suggested Dago versus Thesaurus because I just really want to see it.
Yeah, no, that would be crazy. Well, and Thesaurus has been on iBattle twice in this past year, so it's not out of the realm of possibility either.
No,
I think that would
100%.
be that'd be a crazy battle.
Definitely. But yeah, and in terms of yourself then, so what would you say is like your least favorite battle that you've been a part of?
Okay. I battled. Well, okay, there might be two. So my first King of the Dot Ground Zero battle was in Massachusetts, and I battled Greedy Grimes, who's an iBattle guy. Um,
Yeah.
I thought I had really good material in that battle, honestly, but like the crowd it just seemed like a really biased crowd in my opinion. Like just the way, like watching the footage back and reading the comments, everyone's like, this crowd is crazy. Just because like I would have like these crazy punchlines and get like crickets, and then I'd hear something that he would say something that in my opinion wasn't that great, and everyone would lose their shit. He has crazy great energy. And he's also like a good battler. I'm not saying that Greedy Grimes is ass or anything. It was a really weird crowd experience. I didn't know anybody there really either. I came from Texas, and that was like his backyard. So that's sort of what you expect, I guess. So I guess really the main thing that I learned is to try and don't take anybody lightly. You know what I mean? If they have a following in a place, there's a reason for it. So you have to like kind of address it. And I don't know. I didn't really handle that battle the right way, but it wasn't a great experience. Another one would probably be I battled this dude 9 on UBRs, my second UBR battle, and the battle itself was kind of weird. He's a very intense person. Like a lot of people that you battle, you have animosity online, but when you meet him the day of the battle, it's like, hey man, good luck, let's do it. It's not real animosity. I'm just trying to sell the fight. But he apparently got actually like very upset about the amount of trolling that I did. And like I got in his face a little bit, and he like pushed me. I'm a large I'm like 6'5",
Right.
230. He was like a couple inches taller than me, had maybe like 50 pounds on me, a big dude. So he like kind of pushed me, and then like whenever it dropped, some of the footage was cut out. At the end of the day, it wasn't a great battle. It's still out there. I haven't really promoted it that much, but that's probably those two would be like my least favorite experiences battling.
Right. I did watch the Nine battle, and I've seen him before. I think against Joe Cutter, and yeah, he's not someone I'm a fan of actually. If I'm honest,
No, and that's the
I
thing is
think
I'm
I
watching
ended
his
up
battles and I'm
skipping.
like, he's not very good, but for whatever reason, they really like him out there. Like he was getting a lot of reaction stuff for stuff that I didn't think was that great.
Right. Yeah, I did. I didn't actually watch his final round. I think I skipped it, but yeah, I can see what you mean. It was quite difficult to watch on his part, so I don't think there's a huge amount of replay value there, perhaps. But no, I can understand that, man. But one question that I'm asking people. This is now the got to work it out. This is the sixth interview that I've done, and I'm asking people what if they were promoting their own event and had kind of unlimited funds to do so. What would be your 10 battle dream card that you'd put on?
Oh, okay. I wrote down answers for a lot of the questions, and this is not one, but I can come up with it pretty quickly. I think a good. It might don't put these in any particular order either,
No,
but I
of
would love
course
to
not.
see. Um, I'm drawing a blank now. Okay, I want to see Box Cutter Max. I'm probably gonna do a lot of iBattle names. Um,
No, that's great. That's completely different to what a lot
and
of the
it's
UK
more
guys
about it's more
say.
about
So.
what I think would be good battles, not necessarily who I think are the best battle rappers out there, but just like battles that I think would make a fire card, you know. So
No,
Box Cutter Max
that's
versus
good.
Reverse Live, I think that'd be a cool, interesting style match. I'd like to watch that. Um,
Yeah, I like that.
hang on, let me think. You got to include Real Deal if you're throwing a dream card. Um, Real Deal is honestly one of my favorites. He's like super, super duper consistent and always really good. And I'm trying to think of who's someone that he hasn't battled because he's been battling forever. Like someone else that would be like a good type of level of competition. Oh, dude, Red
Yeah,
Flag.
man.
What?
I'm with.
Red
Yeah,
Flag, dude. Red Flag versus Real Deal. What? That would be fucking crazy.
100%.
Okay, so I got Box Center versus Reverse Live, Red Flag versus Real Deal. Um, okay, who else? Come on.
It is
Jack
tough
Tripper.
narrowing it down, isn't it?
Right, Jack Tripper. I gotta have Jack on a dream card, but who would be good against Jack? Jack is so fucking fire, dude. Honestly, Jack is one of my favorites. He's kind of unorthodox, but like, and a lot of the time, the stuff that he does isn't even necessarily falls into what you think a bar would be. But he's just so creative with the shit. Um. Oh well, okay. I'll steal from Lex because this battle didn't happen. But I'll say Jack versus the Saga. Actually, no, screw that because I don't like the Saga. I'll say Jack versus Street Hems because that's a Christian battler that I actually like. But I'd like to see Jack versus like a actual Christian battler.
Okay, nice.
Um, I'll be selfish and put myself on my own card.
Of course, man. It's got to be done.
I'll put myself on my own card versus Megadeth. That's a battle that people have been suggesting for a long time that they'd like to see. I think it'd be an interesting because we write differently, but we have very similar performance, and we also look similarly. I think it'd be a fun fight to sell. I would like to do that one day.
I'd never have thought of that matchup, but yeah, I like that. I really like that actually.
That's been
Has
suggested for a while
Megadeth
now.
been on iBattle?
Huh? Yeah, no, Megadeth
Has
has been on iBattle
Megadeth
several
been on
times.
iBattle?
He battled
Yeah.
he battled Jack Tripper. He battled wait, did he battle Athena? Maybe. Who else did he battle? Oh, he battled fucking Bubba Ford. He's been on iBattle probably like 4 or 5 times. I'm blanking out on some of the different matchups he's had. He was supposed to battle Sweeney at Road Rage one year, and then Sweeney couldn't. Road Rage is the South by Southwest event, by the way, but he couldn't make it. But yeah, he and Lex are cool. He's been on iBattle several times.
Nice.
So let's see. I have 4 battles now. I should include some UK guys, man. Canel is one of my favorites in the UK right now, and I think it would be dope to see him versus. Well, I want to see Canel versus 2014 Uno Lavos, not Uno Lavos right now.
Do you know what? I'm pretty much sick to death of watching Uno Lavos, man.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, I don't want it. If it was 2014, that's what I'm saying. Back then, I think it would have been good. But since we're not doing time travel, let me scrap that. Let me think of someone else. Canel versus Carter Deans would be fucking incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I think Carter's been booked over here before, but he couldn't make it due to like passport issues, I think. But I think Canel versus Carter Deems is something that will happen in the near future.
That would be super fire, man. I would love to see that. And I just thought of another one that I want to see too. Would be fucking wait, is Soul retired now? He says he is, and then he is. I don't know. If Soul's not retired, I would love to see Soul versus Rum Nitty. You there? Hello? 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 You there? I can't hear if you're speaking. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate. The connection dropped for about a minute there. I think it was on my end, but should be okay now.
No problem.
Yeah, sorry. I heard as far as Canal versus Carter, and then you said you thought of another one, and that was where it dropped.
Okay, so I'm not sure because I feel like he's retired and then came back, so I'm not sure if he is retired. If he's not retired, I would love to see Soul versus Rum Nitty.
Wow. Okay. No, the Soul is he's not retired. He took a year off battling for Premier Battles just because I think he lives really far north. Where he's from Scotland, so he's like for him to get to London, I think it involves like a 10-hour coach journey. So battling as regularly as he was on Premier Battles, like 4 or 5 times a year, it was quite a lot of work for him. So I think he's just taken a bit of a break in that sense. But Soul versus Nitty, that's incredible.
Yeah, I would love to see that shit. I feel like that would be a crazy battle.
Nice. Do you know what? I don't think Soul over here, like Soul is pretty much everybody's favorite. Like Soul is kind of like how he's kind of like our Lux in that sense. But I didn't realize that he had much of a following in the States in that sense, because he's been booked for King of the Dot a lot, and obviously he featured on the URL, but mainly just because they were in London, I think. But like I didn't realize that he had like a following over there, to be honest.
Well, he as far as I know, people kind of, it's sort of the same. Like we kind of think of him as like one of the best people from the UK, right? I don't know how I would, because I'm so out of touch with that scene. I haven't been watching as many of those battles lately. You know what I mean? But like currently, the people that are their material ages well and it stays current, Soul is one of like the top people from the UK, at least from what I gather from people I talk to.
Sure. Yeah, no, I do completely agree as well. He's every battle like I think he's done maybe 50 or so battles, and I can only pick out one bad performance off the top of my head, really. So he's so consistent in that sense.
Right. Okay, so that was 6. I'm gonna cut my card. 6 is the perfect amount for a for a fire event. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I like it, man. It's some good choices as well.
I feel like a lot of the times the smaller leagues will set up like 11, 12, 13 battles, but I think that's because they know that like 5 of them probably aren't going to happen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. But in terms of yourself, like I've been asking other people like if they had 5 matchup choices for themselves, like who would they pick? You've mentioned Megadeth already, but
Yeah,
is there anyone else that you? Nice.
So Megadeth I put on the list for sure. Jables would be another one that I would love to have someday.
Yeah.
Reverse Live would be dope. Mac Myron, he's one of my favorite fucking. He's not really an up and comer. He's been around for a while, but I feel like he's getting more momentum lately. But like I only kind of found out about him maybe like a year ago. But he's super dope. And then I gotta say my fucking favorite battle rapper ever, even though he would smoke my boots, but Nitty.
Yeah, nice man. Yeah, Matt Myron for me is like he's heavily slept on.
For sure. Well, he punches so much, and I realized watching some of his battles like back to back, not every punch is crazy hard, but he just punches so it's like every 2 bars or every bar basically, but like so I think the momentum is what's so crazy and the energy is really good too. Those are the like I watch other battlers and not like see things that I like that I want like ooh I'm gonna do that, but it's more like I see what works and what other people are doing. It's like how can I incorporate that into what I do, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Like he's really good. And yeah, I completely understand Run Nitty. Run Nitty, in my opinion, has to be on everybody's list. Like he's so good.
Oh, Nitty's one of my consistent. Like I've gone through phases where I watch battles and I'll have like a favorite, but Nitty's always consistently like one of my favorites.
And what I love about Nitty, especially like recently, is you see a lot of URL, predominantly URL battlers wouldn't take like an up and comer as an opponent unless it's on the URL. But I love the fact that Nitty came to iBattle to battle Jables, man. That's so sick.
Oh right, and honestly, the only reason that was able to happen is just because of the connections that Lex has, and you know the way that he's networked and put himself out there over the years. But that was a crazy battle, and yeah, I agree. It was dope to see one of like the best battle rappers that does it right now come to a kind of up and coming league, you know.
Yeah, and you don't see too many of the like the guys that you'd consider top tier on URL. You don't really see them battling on other leagues within the US either. And if they do, it's normally a pretty mediocre performance. Like you've got Twerk doing it and reusing material all the time and stuff, and like JC will do the odd battle and it's not normally all that great. But Nitty took Jables and like he really fucking showed up and he really wrote for it as well. And it was just so good to see.
Yeah, and like I feel like his rounds were a little shorter than Jables, but he just packs them so full of such great material you don't even care. But yeah, I honestly it's because like URL pays some of these guys like Suge, or like T-Top or whatever. Like they get paid pretty well to battle there because URL can afford it and because they make it decent. return on their investment. But a lot of smaller leagues aren't going to be able to afford to give you 10K to battle, you know?
No, of course. Yeah, I love that battle, man. It was so good. But yeah, that's a good list, man. And all those matchups make a lot of sense to yourself as well, I think. But be good to see one of those soon, hopefully. But um, what would you say are I'm normally asking for top three or just the top one, but what's the best bar that you've had said against you? Like one that's made you kind of stand back and think, "Fuck, that was that was good."
Um, I'm trying to remember how he said it. This wasn't even like a punchline. It was like a setup to the next thing he was about to say. But when I battled Japanese Jesus, which if you're not familiar with him, he was like an old school like OG. He's like part of the reason the Texas battle scene is what it is today. And he battled Cheddar Cheese, I want to say, on Grind Time like a long ass time ago. He's been around for a while. He's like a legit vet and he's like a beast. He's really good. Um, and he said this thing. I don't even remember what he said after it, but this stuck in my head for some reason. But he said Dawson's Creek better quantum leap back to the Warp Tour. And I don't remember anything else that went around it, but that was just like, God damn, that was so like, because I'm a white guy, I'm like a punk kind of guy. I don't know. That was good. Oh, Ronnie had some really good shit against me. Um, Ronnie said Benji Rec something couldn't fuck with him any less. Thought chestnuts came from titty sex. Like I don't know. It's hard. Like my whole thing is I'm very open about shit that I've done. So when people try to angle on me, it's like a lot of the times they're like dirty white boy angles or like you drink a lot angles, which is all stuff that I'm very open about. So it's like I don't really care what you say about it. So it doesn't really like stick to me that much. You know what I mean?
No, I see what you mean, and it's the best way to be in terms of being a battler as well, because you can just kind of shrug bars off and stuff, isn't it? So it
Yeah,
works.
like
But
there was I'm trying to remember if there's anything else because there's been some pretty good shit. The Dawson's Creek better quantum leak back to the Warp Tour is like just like the cleanness of the rhyme and how accurate. I don't know. I love that bar. It wasn't even like the punchline, but it just stuck with me.
no, that is crazy. We I spoke to somebody earlier actually, a UK battler who's up and coming really quickly over here, a guy called Sam Hypes, and he said similar, like he feels the best like or the most hard hitting thing he's had said to him was like he battled a guy called Tidal who rebutted just one of kind of Sam's setup lines. He's Tidal had essentially like stopped battling on Premier Battles and gone to Don't Flop kind of thing. Not anything like officially, but had just kind of happened to get bookings on Don't Flop instead. Um, and Sam focused on like how he'd done that and had a like a setup line where he said like you jumped ships like Somali pirates, and Tidal came back within about 15 seconds and rebutted it with like I'm the captain now bar, and it was like in the room it was a proper heavy flip like and he wasn't somebody that was particularly known for flipping at that stage, but it was, yeah, that was pretty cool. Good to hear that Sam appreciated it just as much as everybody else did too. But yeah, and on to like the next question. This is probably a difficult one because iBattler just I've not seen a bad battle come out of iBattle for a long time, but what's the best battle that you've ever seen live? Hello, are you there, man? are you on the line?
Shit. My bad, dude. I was on mute. I'm so sorry.
No worries, man. No worries.
I'm so sorry, dude. My bad. Okay. Shit. What was I saying? It's crazy because three of them are all on the same event. It was a Titan 6 event last year when Dunch battled Mike P. And then there was also what did I say? Homeschool versus Ellipsis was fucking bananas. It's a super good battle. And then Tape Deck versus Chrome was also crazy. Those were all three on an event that I was at. And then probably if I had to pick a number 4, it would be Mulips versus Carter Games at South by Southwest last year, because that is like, dude, I didn't stop laughing that entire battle. It was probably one of the funniest and most entertaining battles I've seen.
Yeah, I like that, man. And do you know what? Now it's just reminded me, Mulips is somebody that I'd like to see Canal battle.
Yeah, dude, that would be awesome. Can't believe I didn't think of that before, but that would be fire.
Yeah, I think
if they do like a UK versus iBattle event, that would be one of the ones that I want to see on it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, man. But yeah, they're 4 fucking amazing battles, to be fair. And that Titan event, man, it was every battle was so good.
Yeah, dude, Titan was an amazing event. The venue was it was very intimate kind of feel. It was in a basement, so the ceiling is really short, and there's a lot of people in a small room, which I think works really well for battle rap, just because it's easy for the energy to transfer. I don't know,
Definitely.
But yeah, that was super cool. It was really fucking hot in there.
Yeah,
it was like the middle of August in a basement in fucking Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, it was really hot with I don't know, 75, 80 dudes. There's a few ladies there.
Yeah, well, I mean, ladies are always very outnumbered at battle rap events, aren't they? I don't think that'll ever change. But
that's one thing I like about Albuquerque, man. They always have a good amount of attractive, not like battle rap fan ladies, attractive ladies that'll show up to their events.
Oh, really? Sick.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice one.
They're just good at the promotion.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Albuquerque, I do apologize. My geographical knowledge of America is slightly poor, but Albuquerque is New Mexico, right?
Yeah, sorry. So it's in New Mexico. I live in Texas, so it's just one state over from me, basically.
Yeah, sure. How long does it take to get there for you then?
So I normally just drive. It's cheaper than flying, and that's it's like a 7.5, maybe 8 hour drive.
Right. Okay.
Most of the time, when I go to iBattle or when I go to Seattle, I always just fly usually because it's way easier. But if it's within a 8 to 10 hour drive, I might drive.
Sure. For me, because I've never been to America anyway. It's always quite fascinating hearing about stories about people getting to events. I remember just randomly listening to a Dirtbag Dan show episode years ago where he was talking about how he booked Michael White, I think his name is.
Michael White, fucking right.
Yeah.
The bitch has got over everything.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
No, Michael White's another one of those people who started off being he was funny always, but he actually can rap pretty well, and he kind of helped start the whole Texas scene down here. But then he just does more weird shit than actually rapping now, and he kind of ruined his own image, I feel like. But he's still kind of legend status as far as Texas battle rappers go. But he's a weird dude.
Yeah, definitely. He's actually been over to the UK as well, which was a bit random, but
he was one of the most. I think he was the highest viewed battler from Texas for a really long time. I don't think he is anymore. I think Scotty is now. If I'm not, maybe I think Scotty is, but Michael White was for a really long time.
Yeah, he came over here, and it was one of the strangest battles that I've ever seen. Like, it was
I think
really
I've watched
bizarre.
that battle. I don't remember who he battled, but I've seen him on the UK. Um, his thing, like, he was good, like, not good, but like he was good at what he did, and I feel like he went way too weird with it and like abstract, and I don't know. I don't think he went the right direction with what he was doing.
No, well, he came over here. I think he was here for like 3 days, and he did three battles. And
Jesus.
he did the main battle that he was booked for, which was against Pedro at one of the checkpoint events, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like a main stage battle, and I I saw him battle. I think it was just before that, like outside the event when people were, and it was against a guy called Soljitsu, and I saw him battle Soljitsu and decided, like, when he was battling Pedro on the main stage, I'd take like a screenshot because it was just the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. And I was told I made the right decision because it was a strange battle. But like against Soljitsu's like he's he's about 6'3", so like fairly tall, really skinny. He had a really what could have been a really good bar to open things up with because he was telling him he looks like Dave Chappelle, which was funny, and then he turned it into you look like Dave Chappelle's sister had sex with Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle had sex with the baby that they made, and now you're that baby, which is the baby that I raped, or something along those lines. And I remember just standing there like, what the fuck why have they booked this guy?
Yeah, he's oddball. Like, it, what I like, so I like watching bad battles sometimes because they're really funny to me. But like, it's funny when they're not intentionally being bad, you know. And I think that was what the magic was with his early battles, was like he found a way to do that but still be good at it. But then he just went full on bad.
Yeah, I
But
agree. I love watching like train wreck battles and stuff, but um,
when they make it that way on purpose, it's not fun. You know what I mean? It has to be a genuine train wreck to be interesting to watch.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I don't know if you've ever come across it, but I'm guessing you're aware of like Shuffle T and Marlow.
Oh yeah.
They've have you ever seen the Bad Bars battle that they did against each other?
I've seen like segments from it. I never watched. I never like sat down and watched the whole thing.
I think quite a lot of leagues have kind of taken on that idea since, but
Yeah, I think
definitely
Smoked
watch that.
Out in Canada has done bad bars battles. Um,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like that kind of thing always happens. I feel like because like iBattle started doing some 5 round battles, and I haven't seen anyone else do one yet. But I feel like it's only a matter of time.
yeah. That Don't Flop used to do events that they called April Fools events, like at the beginning of April every year, and every battle was like had a bit of a strange concept to it. But that Bad Bars battle it's still one of my favorite battles to this day, man. It's just so intentionally bad that it's incredible.
Well, they're both really good at being like the tongue in cheek kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like they know it's bad and they're playing it off, but it's the way they do it is dope. They're like one thing I really admire about the UK scene is that like there's a lot of like theatrical kind of personalities, which that you get in the US too. But like like there's a lot of people that write really well, and I feel like the way y'all write too is sort of different. It's like it's very well crafted, and then you have like these characters that deliver it. It's really cool, you know. Like y'all, I feel like y'all have a slightly different approach than a lot of people in the U.S. do, which is a reason why I like to watch battles from the UK.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, definitely, and I think we're over here. It's what I like about our scene the most is that that our cards are so kind of varied in terms of battlers' approaches. Like I find that with the US, you kind of have events where all the battlers are kind of like I battle aside here, but all the battlers are kind of specific to one style, if that makes sense. Whereas over here, we'll start an event with like Shuffle T and Marlowe versus someone on like a comedy who all take a comedy angle, and then we'll switch it to a soul battle straight after, and the crowd will still react to both sides of things, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't seem to happen as much in the States, like I battle aside, but
right. Well, that's the thing too, is you'll notice that like a lot of leagues are more like they just want like punchlines, it seems like, which is cool. I'm sort of like a punchline rapper, so I like rapping like that. But then you get on like you see like KOTD Vancouver is a good one where they have like some oddball kind of characters. They do some different kind of stuff. It's not necessarily all just bars, you know what I mean? But like guys who would do well on a scene in Vancouver, if they came and battled in like Houston, would probably get booed off the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very segmented in different regions. I battle aside. I think is good because there's a good mix. You know what I mean? Like you get like the comedy side. There's a lot of really good rappers, and then you got people that have like just like some of the craziest pens when it comes to like punchlines and bars.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but on the subject though of like traveling to events and with the Michael White thing, like I remember Dirtbag Dan saying that he'd like booked him on Bots, which is obviously San Jose. And he mentioned that Michael White said that he was scared of flying and wanted to take like the Greyhound or the coach there. And like to me, because I've not been to America, when you look at a map, Texas and California don't seem overly far away from each other. Do you know what I mean? And then
that's on a bus. That's like a 20. That's like a day or more. That's like a 30-hour bus ride.
He said it took 2 days for him to get there, and I was just like, "What? That's fucking mental."
Michael White's kind of gutter, man. He's from like kind of like a rough area, so I guess it kind of makes sense that he would feel more comfortable on a bus. But he's also just a kind of a weird guy. And honestly, anything you told me about him wouldn't be that surprising. Just because he's such an oddball, I could believe most things.
It was bizarre for me because like he told Dan that he was scared of flying, but literally 6 months before he'd been in the UK.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he had a bad experience. I don't know. That's weird.
I guess so.
I'm not surprised. Like I said, he's strange.
Yeah, very. Yeah, he's from like Corpus Christi or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corpus Christi, Texas. That's how he says it.
Yeah. Strange accent in general for me. Like, it's hard to get on board with. But like, what would you say is the longest you've spent traveling to an event then?
It'd probably be the GZ I did in Massachusetts, just because I was bad about like getting the flights and all that. I picked like a terrible flight. I got like a red eye, and then it was like a connecting flight. So what happened was I flew from Dallas to like Miami, and I had to stay the night in Miami and then fly out the next morning up to Connecticut. And then when I got to Connecticut, I had to get on like a train for a few hours to get up to Springfield, Massachusetts. So that was like, it was like 2 days there and back, like 2 days each way.
Yeah, fuck, that's crazy.
And it shouldn't have been that long. It was just me being dumb about the way I booked the travel.
Right. Okay. Fair. Yeah,
if I hadn't had the layovers, it wouldn't have been that bad.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's still good, I guess, that you've got to book your own flights, because I've heard quite a few stories now that are like literally horror stories for like promoters have booked travel for battlers and it's turned out to be horrendous. Like Um,
If I get a flight paid for, I'll usually just have them send me the money and I'll book it myself. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's definitely a good option. There's are you aware of O'Shea, like a UK
Oh
battle?
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
O'Shea's a
pretty
legend.
much. Yeah, he's the like the first battler that I ever saw, and he's pretty much the reason why I'm as obsessed with it as I am. But he, I remember him telling a story about being booked to battle in Denmark or or Sweden, maybe it was one of the two, but he like flying from the UK to Denmark or Sweden is like a 2 hour flight. Um, and he told the promoter that he wanted to fly from Liverpool, which is where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
So the promoter booked the flight, and he had to fly from Liverpool to Dublin, Dublin to like the Isle of Wight or the Isle of Man or like one of the little islands around the UK. From the Isle of Wight then to Manchester, and Manchester up to Denmark or Sweden.
Oh my god.
Manchester is literally a 1 hour drive from Liverpool. So he took two flights to essentially get back to where he came from to
Oh
then
my
fly to
god.
where he was going. It was just it's people just like some promoters just really don't look into it enough, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was yeah, the Massachusetts one was the worst I've had. Other than that, I haven't really had that many issues traveling. I haven't like battled outside the states yet, so most of my stuff has been like Albuquerque, New York, Seattle, Massachusetts, Phoenix, Arizona, Tulsa, and then Austin, Texas. I think are the only places I've battled.
Okay, that's not too bad then, I guess. But yeah, I remember like for the Apex event, I know Real Deal had a really strange route of getting to the UK as well, and like it it really around the time that all the URL big names dropped out of that event, it really kind of showed Real Deal's professionalism because he was booked like 3 weeks before the event. He'd had like a huge family like tragedy around the same time, and I think he flew from like Pittsburgh to Lisbon to Dublin, Dublin to Manchester. Like it took a couple of days to get there, and he still turned up and put on a flawless performance. And like, I completely agree with what you were saying earlier about Real Deal. He's one of my all-time favorites as well.
Oh, he's a really fucking solid dude too, man. I met him like 2 years ago. We were both on some event. My first out of state battle actually in Seattle. They booked him to come battle one of their local guys, and I was like on the undercard. Super nice guy, super humble. And then we had a couple beers at the Defiance event. And then like just recently, I was in contact with him a little bit because he did that online battle with E Farrell, and I edited that. But super nice guy, super down to earth, and also, yeah, like you said, one of the best and most consistent in the game right now.
Definitely, yeah. And I met him pretty briefly at an event over here a couple of years ago, and like I bought like a T-shirt and a CD from him, and we're on lockdown in the UK at the moment. We're only allowed out of the house for like an hour a day to exercise or to go shopping, kind of thing, and it has to be one person at a time from each household. Like it's pretty strict here. But
Right.
I went to like the supermarket the other day and I had my Real Deal T-shirt on, and the cashier in the supermarket says to me, "Is that Ben Affleck on your T-shirt?" And I was like, "That's a new one. I've not heard that before." It was pretty surprising, but yeah, I'm a giant Real Deal fan, man. But um, yeah, in terms of what was like the first battle event that you attended then?
Dude, so the first event that I attended was the first event that I battled at. I hadn't been to a live event. 'Cause I moved down here to Texas probably about like 4 years ago. I started battling 3 years ago. when I got into battle rap, I was still in Oklahoma. There wasn't really like a big booming scene or anything for it. So I hadn't been to a live event until I went to one to battle at, which was interesting experience. Because I'd gone from watching like URL, Don't Flop, King of the Dot. You know, I'd never really even like known that there were like smaller leagues around. And then going to like a small league battle at some like private biker club, like not a bar, like it's for this is a building for this particular group of bikers to hang out with. It's their own private club. They own it. The league owner is cool with them, and they let him use it for events. There's like no audio. The lighting sucks. There's like 15 people there, and I'm the only white guy. Like it was kind of a culture shock. But like now, like I'm super used to it, and I love like the feel and all that kind of stuff. But like I didn't quite know what I was getting into when I started going to battles. But ever since then, it's one of my, that's like, I love watching battles and like battling, but I just like going to events too. Like that's honestly like one of my favorite things to do, especially if it's like a local event or an iBattle event or a league where I've been before, because it's like you just hang out with all your friends, you know?
Yeah, of course. And I'm the same. I go to battle events as often as I possibly can, really. And like I lived like abroad for about 6 years. I spent a couple of years in Germany, and like I got to go to a battle event in Germany, and I couldn't even speak a word of German, but still I had an incredible time. Like it was really good fun. But that's kind of it for the battle rap related questions, to be honest. But actually, no, there's one more. Sorry. So I'm always interested to hear in like what battlers' kind of inspirations or like writing processes are. Like I know a lot of people, like I remember hearing Saurus say that when he's writing for a battle, he'll always put a B Magic battle on, and just it gets him in the mood for writing. Like do you have anyone that you watch beforehand in particular, or do you have like any inspiration while you're writing? Do you write to a beat or anything like that?
So once I get a battle set up, I kind of start, normally I have like a couple months, you know, so I'll start kind of thinking of just like the very like low hanging fruit, like the easy stuff that I could say. And then I'll kind of, as I think, honestly, what I do is I just think about it a lot for like the first like few weeks. I don't even really write that much. I'll just come up with ideas for punchlines and write those down, and then I'll have a bunch of these like really solid haymakers, and what I do is kind of like write backwards from that. So like if I do like a 4-bar setup, the bar that hits the hardest and is normally going to be the last one, which is like the haymaker or whatever. Now I could punch in the setup too, but like that's sort of the way that I like structure it. Now, in terms of like getting into the mood, it's like hard for me to really like make myself sit down and write. Like it has to be like on a Saturday where I don't have anything else to do, and like closed off in my room by myself. Like I like to have white noise in the background, honestly. Like it's kind of hard for me to watch battles and get in the mood to write, because I feel like a lot of the time I'll almost emulate who it is that I'm trying to write like, or that I just watched. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't necessarily want to do that. So what I do is a lot of the time is I'll just put on white noise. So it's like something that helps me like zone in, so I don't, because I have really bad ADHD, and so like I can get distracted super easily. So something that helps me like zone in and then write. Because when I'm writing, really, I don't like to have any like music or like anything, because I get distracted too easily.
Okay, makes sense. No, I like the idea of writing backwards, like thinking of a punchline and then writing backwards as well. I've never battled personally, but the UK scene's a bit of a hard scene to get into sometimes. I've actually written 3 rounds for 4 battles that were meant to be my tryout, and all 4 of them have ended up never going ahead. But that was the exact technique that I took when I was kind of preparing for mine as well. It's just seems the best way to do it, really. It's the best way of structuring things as well.
Yeah, for sure. And like That's like the main thing that I do is I'll kind of be a lot of the time too. I won't even be thinking about the battle. I'll just see something or something will come in my head and I'll think of a double meaning for it and I'll be like, oh, that could be a great bar, and I'll just write it down.
Yeah, sure.
So that and it's I think the practice is trying to come up with those ideas from different things that you see and seeing how many of those you can do a day. That's like my practice, I guess, is just like trying to stay sharp and keep thinking of new ideas for bars.
Nice. Yeah, it makes sense, and it's it's the like. Do you stockpile then in that sense? Like when you say when you think of an idea, you write it down. Have you got like a notepad or like notes on your phone of just stuff that you think of like on a whim?
Yeah, well, so for the longest time, dude, I battled like once a month. Like the first like 2 years that I battled, I was always either writing or memorizing a battle, basically. So I didn't really have a lot of time to like stockpile stuff. I took like a 6 month break. Like after I battled Jack Casserole, I didn't battle again. And that was like last August or September, last September. And I didn't battle again until like February this year. So I had like quite a bit of stuff. Like I was still trying to think of bars all the time. It's hard for me, like sometimes if I don't have something set up to get the spark to be inspired to write. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
It's like once it gets locked in, then it's real, and then it's like, oh, I better write some stuff. I'm gonna look like an idiot on stage.
No, I see what you mean, man. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's a good technique, man. I'm always interested in hearing how people prepare for battles in that sense. And how would you find like the memorizing process? Does that come to you quite easy or?
It's gotten easier the more I've been battling. When I started, I needed always like at least like 2 weeks to make sure I had everything memorized. Um, and I think I still like to do that because it gives me enough time to not only memorize everything, but like get it so memorized that you can do it without thinking about it, and then also be like perfect like the delivery and the performance of it. Um, but I can have a round memorized in probably like 2 days, and I have a trick for that too. With like actually one of my homies who judged the first battle I was ever on, and like he's like he actually said that I lost the battle, but he's like, dude, you have potential, you're doing well, like just keep at it. He's a local guy. He passed away a few years ago, but super nice guy, really good friend. He I forgot how I was getting on this. Oh, right. He taught me this trick where he would read his stuff off and record it on his phone and then just like listen to it over and over while he was doing like while he was working, while he was sleeping, whatever. So like hearing yourself perform it to you over and over helps with my memorization a lot. So I've been doing that trick ever since he told me about it.
Sure, yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. I think quite a few people do it that way. Like I know Saurus, um, I know he did it for the reverse live battle. I think he said because he like drove there and just listened to it on repeat while he was driving to the event. But the I'd never really taken the memorizing process into account until in the city that I live in, which is Cardiff in Wales. There was an event here last year that Don't Flop did, and I spent the majority of the day with Kinal, and Kinal has one of the coolest processes that I've ever seen, where he'll have a picture that references all of his like every 2 bars or so, and he'll put them all together into one big picture. And it was like, so for example, I don't know if you're aware of if you have a cartoon in America called Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had a line about Dora the Explorer, and like it merged into a bar about like Diodora clothing. So he had like Dora the Explorer next to the Diodora logo and all that kind of stuff. I just found it pretty fascinating, to be honest. It's a cool way of memorizing things. But yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy way to just if you're worried about choking or anything, just open your phone and it's there and accessible, I guess. But yeah, and that's pretty much all the battle rap related questions anyway, man. But you do you make music or anything like that?
Yeah, I just actually I was part of like a hip hop collective for a few years, and we did some stuff in like the Tulsa area. I haven't done music really since then, and up until recently, I recorded a 5-track EP last year, put it out at the end of the year. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. I think it's on all the streaming platforms, but it's the name of the EP is Wreckmore. It's just my stage name. Benji Reckless is it's the same.
Okay, I'm just writing that down, man, because something I want to do with this platform is as well as just interviews, I want to kind of do a weekly update on like battlers music and stuff, and like start to review battlers music as well, just because I don't know how it is in the States, but over here battlers music often gets like overlooked and nobody really gives it a chance. So
Yeah,
um,
that's it's pretty much the same thing. There's a few guys like Eddie I makes really great music, but he's been working really hard on it and pushing it out a lot, like more than his battles. I feel like he's getting some momentum lately. Surf has some good music. Reverse Live has great like Ruin Your Day's been putting out some good stuff, but you're totally right. It's over here a lot of the time it gets overlooked too. It just kind of depends on who it is and what platform it's on and
yeah, I love those Ruin Your Day tapes, man. That's such a good idea. I've
oh they're great, man, and they're super high quality and the video content's great. Yeah, I always like that channel in general just has so much great content. If shout out to Avocado and everybody else involved with that.
Oh, definitely. I think anything Avocado does, I'm pretty much guaranteed to enjoy it. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and
Yeah,
the Watch Battles series too is such like a great idea, and I haven't seen him as much lately, but I used to really like watching those a lot. It's such a cool thing, especially when they get the people who battled to watch the battle back. It's really it's like a director's commentary on like a movie kind of, but it's a really cool idea, and yeah, they're doing some cool shit with battle rap.
yeah, 100%. I love the ideas that they have, man, and it's really good to see weekly battle feed come back in the last few days too.
Yeah, for sure. It was dope of Laughing Stock to put that out and to shout out the iBattle video tournament too and that. So yeah, hopefully he keeps making those too because I always really enjoyed that show. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, me too. Stalk's just such. He's so naturally funny as well that it just comes across so well.
Oh yeah, dude, he's great. I think he could fit in very well just as like a stand-up comedian, but the fact that he's doing battle rap, I think he has his own niche audience within the battle rap community. Aside from the fact that he's just very intertwined with the media side of it and he like knows everybody. He's a good dude. And
Yeah,
also a great battler, very entertaining person.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I'm a huge fan as well. But in terms of like in terms of like your music taste, like, is there any kind of lesser known artists that maybe we're not aware of over here that you'd recommend?
Like lesser known, like does it matter where they're from?
No, not at all, man. Just any
And they don't
kind
they
of
don't have to be battle rappers, just anybody.
anybody of any genre, really. Yeah, I listen to all sorts of stuff, and I'm always looking out for like new music to listen to.
Well, hold up. I'm pulling up my playlist right now. Because what I do like yearly playlists, and so I'll add people like when I find something, or if it's just a song that I like, then I'll just put it on there. I've been doing this since like 2012.
Nice.
Um, oh, Prof is someone I've been listening to a lot. He's really good. He has like a very unique kind of flow. It's like almost funny, but he's like the music he makes is really fucking good.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I've heard a little bit of his stuff actually.
yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Prof lately. There was another guy that I was listening to a lot. Arizona's Zervas. He's more like an R&B guy. He's kind of like really heavy on the autotune, but he has some really good songs.
Okay. I've not heard of him, so I'll give that a go.
Yeah, he's a little poppy, but he's still pretty good. Um, RMR, dude. Okay, you might have seen this. This video like went viral, but it's like that country trap song where the guy's like singing and he's like pointing a gun at the camera for the video, but it looks like a trap video, but it's like a very like piano-y. It's like a Rascal Flatts song almost. It's really good actually. The way I described it, it probably doesn't sound very good, but it's really good. This RMR guy, he has a song called Rascal that's super dope.
Okay. Do you know what? I don't think I've seen that actually.
The video is real. The video is kind of why it's gotten notoriety lately because it's a crazy video. But you should definitely look up the video, and you might like the song too. I'm not sure. I also so someone just told me about this. This isn't really new, and it's not really someone who's not established already. But I didn't know about this. But I guess like Mac Miller had like a bunch of like jazz songs that he put out under a different name. So I found this EP by Larry Lovestein and the Velvet Revival called You. It's really good, man. I'd never heard of it before, and I listened to it all the way through yesterday, and I put the whole EP on my playlist.
Yeah, man, I really like that too.
Amigo the Devil. He's not a rapper. He's like they call it like Southern Gothic. It's like, or wait, what is it? Murder folk. Yeah. So it's like kind of dark folk music.
Okay.
He's really good. That's a lot of the shit I've been listening to lately. I kind of mix it up. You know, I started out doing music. I played punk and metal. I went like on some small like self-funded tours with my metal band before I like went to college or whatever, like after high school. So I listen to a lot of like metal and stuff too, but like ever since then I've like expanded. There's a little bit of every genre that I can appreciate, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm similar. I mean, my main music taste does kind of revolve around hip hop, but I do like growing up. My dad had the strangest taste in music in that he'd listen to like house and techno music because he used to DJ, or he'd listen to like old school punk music. So it was like I've always had a bit of a wide taste in music in that sense. But yeah, no, I'll definitely check those out, man. Did you say Amiga the Devil?
Amigo, like Spanish for friend, the devil.
Okay, nice. Check that out. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I found an artist this morning. I don't know if it's an artist or if it's a duo, but I think they're pretty big in the States at the moment. But it's a guy called Marlowe. Have you heard of those?
Marlowe?
Yeah, Marlowe.
I don't think so.
So I think the rapper's actually called Raheem Brigham, and the producer of the album is Le Orange.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've actually started a group that's called Marlowe or if it's just the name of the album. I only really found them this morning, but that's definitely worth checking out, man. It's fucking really good album.
I got them pulled up on Spotify right now. I'll check it out whenever we get done here.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's from like last year, I think, but I recently found that, and that was really good. But
if I'm gonna plug anyone else, I gotta plug Eddie I, dude. Eddie I makes really dope music, and I know I think he actually has a decent, probably not like a crazy following, but he has some fans in the UK. But like, if y'all who listen to this, if you haven't listened to Eddie I's music, go look it up. It's on streaming services. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big fan of Eddie, like as a battler, and I like his music too. There's definitely a following for him over here because he did battle over here. There was an event called Chalked Out where Chalked Out.
I remember that now.
Yeah, they kind of merged with King of the Dot and did their first event, which was called Empire. And Eddie battled Jay Short. and yeah, he battled Jay Short and he pulled a Nintendo Switch out mid round, which was pretty funny. But yeah, he's definitely got a following over here though.
Yeah, dude, Eddie's dope. He's a great battler. I really like his music. I just had to throw that in there if we were plugging people, just because I fuck with Eddie as like a person too. And yeah, dude, his music is really good.
Yeah, yeah, he seems cool, man. And what would you say is the best gig that you've ever been to?
Like to perform or just like any show that I've seen.
We'll say both.
Run the Jewels actually does a dope live set. That's one of my favorite live sets that I've seen. If we go back to like metal shit, Whitechapel is really fucking good live.
Okay.
I saw them back in like 2008, back when they were, in my opinion, back when they were in their heyday, when they made their best music, and so I got to see them around then, and it was an incredible show. Best shows I've ever performed, honestly, I gotta say, I played at this high school talent show. I had just graduated, but the drummer of the band that I was in was still in high school, so they let us play the talent show. And we were like a metal band. People would like mosh and stuff at our shows normally. And so like when we rehearsed it, we did it differently. But like whenever it was time to play, I was like, everybody get the fuck up. And so like they started a mosh pit in the school, and we got cut off within like a minute and a half of our first song. And like the principal was like running on stage, like yanking the mic away from me and shit. But yeah, dude, I felt like fucking rock and roll legend in front of a bunch of literal children.
That's incredible, man. That's like something you see in a movie or something.
Yeah, dude, that's probably my favorite show I've ever played. Honestly, it's super fun. Battles are dope, but like it's hard to top that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's really cool. And yeah, I've just been kind of finishing the show off with literally the most random questions in the world, to be honest. But if you could pick one destination in the world as like a holiday trip, where would you go?
New Zealand, I think.
Nice. My stepdad's from New Zealand. Actually, I've been there. It's as good as people say it is.
I'm a huge nerd, dude. The first time I saw New Zealand was in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
But I just saw it. I was like, dude, it's fucking beautiful out there. And then hearing other stuff about people who traveled there and had great experiences, that's probably one place I'd like to go before I die in terms of like international destination. I mean, I'd love to go to Europe. My sister lived in Berlin for like 4 years, and she had really good things to say about over there. But that's probably my top place I would go is New Zealand.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. It's incredible, and Berlin is also incredible. To be fair, they're both well worth visiting. Where would you say is like the best trip that you've been on so far? Have you been out of the States much?
Not much, honestly. I've been to Mexico a couple times, and that's it. I don't have a passport right now, and back when I went to Mexico as a kid, you didn't need a passport to cross the border. It was a few years ago. They changed the rules since then.
Okay.
It was kind of before all this border madness in the United States. I mean, it was still happening, but it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. Anyways, my favorite trip. I love Seattle, man. Seattle's a really cool destination. It's cool because they have everything that I like. They have like the ocean and mountains, and then like it's the city life, and they have like a really cool art and music scene. If you go during the right time of the year, the weather is beautiful. It rains a lot of the time if you go during like the fall, but it's still not bad even if you go up there during the rain. I really just love Seattle. Like the battle scene up there is pretty cool. Like it's real. I have some great friends out there, and they have like a really great and supportive scene. But like the destination itself is why I keep going back.
Nice. Yeah, no, I understand that, man. And Seattle looks amazing as well, just from like pictures that I've seen and stuff. But yeah, secondly, do you have a favorite sport team?
Man, I'm not a big sports guy, honestly. I've never really been. I guess I'll say fucking Oklahoma City Thunder because that's the only pro sports team that my home state has.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. I've the main reason I ask is I've literally this from the season just gone. I've just started following NFL. Like I've never really got into it before, and I kind of realised what I was missing out on. But I've never followed like any American sports in that sense, so my knowledge is pretty poor. But
I like college football more than professional football. I don't know why, but I feel like they play better football. It's weird. Like I feel like they want it more or something. I don't know. It's
yeah, I've seen people say that a lot actually, man. And I don't know if are you familiar with a TV show called The League?
Yeah.
Like that show isn't big in the UK. Like I don't personally know anyone that's watched it, but I started watching that just because I noticed that John LaJoie was in it, and
oh yeah,
like I watched it before I knew anything about football at all, but that's one of my favorite like comedy series that I've watched so far. Like I really enjoyed that show, but that also kind of helped me to get into NFL, I guess. But yeah. But no, cool, man. And the final question, I'm not 100% sure I'll know what your answer is because we have very different snacks. But what's your go-to snack?
Okay. So this is tough because I always have this internal fucking debate. I've been having it for years. Anytime I go to get snacks, is like, do I want to go for sweet or do I want to go for savory? I'll mix up sometimes, but there's not a lot of great sweet and savory options like combined as far as snacks go.
No.
If I'm going sweet, I'll usually go Haribo sour gummy bears. That's my number one jam probably for sweet stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
If I'm gonna go savory, I'll probably do the jalapeno cheddar Cheetos if they have them. They're kind of a rarer one. Normally, if they don't have that, I'll just do Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Nice. No, I don't. Well, I wasn't expecting to know what your answers were, but I know those things, so that's good.
Yeah.
I was nice. Well, I asked somebody yesterday, and they said chocolate raisins, and I was heavily disappointed. To be fair, but,
gross.
Yeah, I know. But no, Benji, it's been really cool to talk to you, man. It's been, thank you for all the support as well. It's been easy to speak to you for the last few days in order to get this booked in. And yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, man. And hopefully we can speak again in the future once you've had a few more battles and stuff. It'd be good to chop it up again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, thank you so much for having me on, and best of luck with getting this podcast started and stuff. And I'll be sharing the links around. And yeah, just thanks again, man. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it as well, man. Thank you very much. And then if there's anything you want to plug, like if you've got any links to music or battles or things like that, just let me know, man. I'll put them in the description for the video.
Oh, great. Yeah, no, I'll just send you some links to stuff. That works great.
Awesome.
I would probably just say my EP and the Jack Casserole battle, honestly.
Cool.
But I'll send you some links.
Perfect. But yeah, mate, thank you so much for coming on, and take it easy, man. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. See you, man.